This is going to be another film study preview of the Detroit Lions hosting the Washington Commanders in the NFC divisional round Saturday night in Detroit. I'm going to focus on the run game for the Lions, which is incredibly diverse and adaptable. Ben Johnson has got multiple zone run schemes, some that are hybrid zone run schemes that take advantage of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, who will be returning apparently for the first time in over a month. The Commanders' run defense has been inconsistent in 2024. I think there's no question about that. That's probably a kind way of putting it, which is a little bit surprising because they have two extremely experienced and capable linebackers. Bobby Wagner, first of all, inside linebacker, solely an inside linebacker, and Frankie Lavue, one of the most underrated players, in my opinion, across the entire NFL on the defensive side of the ball. Been a big fan of his since he played for the Carolina Panthers. 2022, they came to Baltimore, and their defense played extremely well against the Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson was actually out that week, and Frankie Lavue made an impression on me. I did a film study video on him after that season. He signed with Washington in 2024. I think he's got 8 sacks this year, second team All-Pro. Unfortunately, I can't show you all of the film that I had of Washington's defense. 2 of the games that I had film of, YouTube's not allowing me to upload it, so I'm going to have to focus on only their run defense against Arizona. So it'll be limited film discussion there from a Washington standpoint, and then we'll show just how diverse the Lions' running attack is. As a Lions fan, you don't need to know that, but I think it's worth mentioning because the return of David Montgomery means that when Jahmyr Gibbs is on the field, he'll be even more fresh than he has been in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Let's get to the film here. We're going to focus on Washington's run defense early. This 5-1 look, I think, is a dangerous proposition for Washington. So when I say 5-1, they've walked up Frankie Lavue as an outside linebacker to the top side, the left-hand side of the defense. And Ben Johnson, I think, when he sees this, 2 things. Number one, he knows that there has to be a safety fill. So you can see the safety creeping up here to play on the opposite side of Bobby Wagner. It's, for me at least, when I was coaching, I never trusted one inside linebacker to be able to handle that fit. You always had to get a safety involved, at least in my opinion. Look, Frankie Lavue is better as a hybrid guy than he gets credit for. He does a nice job out there on the edge. Like I said, I think he's got 8 sacks this year. It might be 9, but in any case, here's the same play from the end zone angle. That safety has got to get involved to stop the run. And the moment Ben Johnson sees that, in fact, I'm sure he's already got a plan for it, play action's coming. Something to make that guy step up and think that it's a run concept and then throw the ball over the top of him. Washington, in my opinion, is going to have to play uphill in terms of stopping the run game and being sound against the play action pass, because what Ben Johnson and those guys can get accomplished with the run game and the pass game, the complementary pass game off of it, is very unique, and they just operate at an extremely high level compared to most of the offenses across the NFL, obviously leading the NFL in scoring in 2024. Second level tackling is always an issue when you face the Lions because your second level defenders, your inside linebacker, nickel defenders, they're always going to be dealing with blockers at the time, perfectly timed, in fact, when you're trying to make a tackle. And that actually happens here to Frankie Lavue. The tight end swims outside of the defensive tackle, and he's going to pin Frankie Lavue inside just enough such that James Conner can escape him to the outside and then bring his cut back to the middle, ends up picking up a first down. I think it's an 11-yard gain on the play. These are the types of things Montgomery is obviously capable of if he's anywhere near full health. And then Jahmyr Gibbs with his downhill ability, his burst, his athleticism, and ability to make people miss. There's this is going to be a great view of a defensive end who's unable to get hands on anyone. The tight end, in this case, swims outside of him and is going to go pin down Frankie Lavue here, allowing Conner to get to the outside shoulder. I think that Washington, I'm not going to say that I know they're going to have tremendous difficulty stopping the run, but this sets up well for Detroit, if you ask me, in that their effort, their tenacity, their willingness to block, meaning Detroit's, is second to none. And I think Washington's run defense, in order to consistently stop or slow down Gibbs and Montgomery, they may have to sacrifice or allocate secondary resources, which could open them up to the play action pass game. This down sweep play is something that the Lions damn near major in, and so I'll diagram it out when we get to end zone angle so you can see it. Down sweep involves the center and the front side guard pulling and a pin down block into the boundary. Anytime I see a team getting ready to face the Lions struggle with boundary side run defense, I know what's coming, and you do too. Jahmyr Gibbs on this outside track into the boundary is what I foresee Ben Johnson going to. Now, whether Washington stops it or not, depending on what type of look. It's not just, hey, let's get in a one high look. It ain't that simple. And in fact, you'll see a couple of examples of that in this video before we get to the Detroit film. So down sweep normally involves the frontside guard pulling and kicking, and then the center pulling and wrapping up. And the reason why they can get that accomplished is because you've got great angles for the tackle to block down on the 3 technique, tight end to block down on the defensive end. So that pulling guard that I illustrated a moment ago, the left guard here, number 62, he's able to get out to the edge, off tackle, essentially. And then the running back, in this case Connor, behind the center. Look, the Lions execute this concept consistently. And here's another example of it. This one, in fact, is to the field. One high is not just the answer for everything, okay? You can see that you've got one safety at depth. Do have 3 second-level defenders here. One thing that you see consistently on the film, when Washington does give up run concepts, the backside inside linebacker is sealed off. And in this case, it's a tight end. Now, technically, Frankie Lavu is the Mike, Bobby Wagner is the Will on this particular snap. And then you have a frontside guy right here. I'm not sure of his positional designation, but you can see Lavu has been closed off. Pulling lineman going to be able to get to that frontside defender. Great effort by a backside defensive end. I think it's number 92 or 93. The point is, with the way the Lions block this down sweep play, any counter play, in fact, they're going to be able to generally seal off the frontside inside linebacker. So in this case, it's the tight end sealing off Frankie Lavu. Too far for Bobby Wagner to try to get there from the backside alignment. And Connors through the hole from the gun. I foresee these techniques, these schemes, I should say, giving Washington real problems unless they change some things, number one, or number two, they allocate more resources than they probably should to stop the run game. One more snap against Arizona again. I wish I was able to show you more film. I had film from 2 other games in terms of their run defense, and unfortunately YouTube would not allow me to upload it without accepting copyright demonetization. So here's Frankie Lavu, and this, look, he's destructive, disruptive, plays downhill, especially at outside linebacker, excuse me. Here he is. I think he understands the concept that's probably coming, totally destroys the play. I mean, underneath the outside tight end, underneath the pulling guard, and then decks the pulling backside tight end, makes contact. I think he got credit for the tackle there. If you are a Detroit Lions fan, and well, first of all, pretty much anybody who's watching this long is a Lions fan, this is a spectacular football player. I'm not saying they don't have other talent over there. I mean, Bobby Wagner's a Hall of Fame guy, obviously. That's a name that maybe you haven't heard a whole lot of. I think he's as good as it gets as a hybrid inside-outside linebacker guy. Coverage-wise, doesn't offer necessarily the same thing as like a Derek Barnes. Lions fans are going to be familiar with that name, obviously, but way more athletic and explosive in the backfield, taking on blocks, and his usage as a pass rusher far exceeds Derek Barnes. But the reason why I use that name is because that's a guy that Detroit Lions fans know offers tremendous versatility. Here he is getting underneath the tight end, and then he'll also get underneath of the pulling guard, then knock the tight end back, totally disrupting the flow of the play. He's an absolute badass from a hybrid inside linebacker, outside linebacker standpoint. So let's get to some of the diversity that the run game offers. Look, if you're a Washington fan and you've watched this long and you don't know it, this is a 3rd and 6, maybe 3rd and 8. My apologies. Ben Johnson is willing, not willing. He's focused on running the ball on 3rd down, and it's all because of one thing. Well, because of how good Gibbs and Montgomery are. Jared Goff is as good as it gets in the NFL at adjusting depending on the look. People can say whatever they want about him. His ability to adjust, recognize things pre-snap, and then get them in the right look. He's as good as anyone in the league, and that includes Patrick Mahomes. Right guard Kevin Zeitler doing a great job comboing up to the front side inside linebacker. And that's what allows Gibbs to bounce it to the outside, get into the end zone. Third down run plays. It's been a staple of this offense for a couple of years. Same play from the end zone angle. Now Zeitler's out, and the next play I'll show you is going to be one that's going to focus on a Christian Mahogany, who's probably going to start in his place. Check the combo out by Zeitler and then up to the front side inside linebacker, so you get an idea of what they're missing in terms of ability to combo, ability to zone block from the first level, the defensive line, up to the second level. Christian Mahogany, rookie, a 6th-round draft pick out of Boston College. I think probably should have been drafted well higher than that. Apparently he's going to take his place. Did play and start this game against the Bears. And so you'll see him here as the left guard on this combo. Look, Gibbs gets downhill on this play. Mahogany is a super athletic young man from an ability to combo standpoint. You can see him taking the D tackle down with Ragnow and then comboing up to the inside linebacker quick, such that Gibbs is taking it front side. But watch the timing on these blocks. Everything is so well coordinated. The arrival of the running back is exquisitely timed up with second-level blocks on almost every occasion. Gibbs has been handling much of the workload, obviously, with Montgomery being out. Montgomery's return, in my opinion, if in fact he is playing a Saturday night, all it does is help Gibbs be more fresh, if you ask me. This is ridiculous. The horizontal threat that's created by the jet dive. I talk about jet dive a lot on Ravens videos because of Derrick Henry and Zay Flowers and other guys. The jet sweep threat and then the dive opposite of the jet sweep, I think, is of tremendous importance for the Lions to create horizontal conflict for Washington's inside linebackers, both of which I've talked about already ad nauseum. Very good, but they're not the fastest guys out to the edge, particularly Bobby Wagner. You want to get horizontal conflict, I think, going against him, such that you can get him away from the play and then let a guy like Gibbs get to the second level, where basically there is no backside inside linebacker, whether it's because of pursuit or whether it's because of blocking. Jet dive is exactly the opposite of the concept that you get here. So you're going to get the tight end in motion, and this is follow. So he's going to move out to the edge, the boundary side. The Lions run to the boundary a lot. Like I said, if you're a Washington fan and you've watched this long, thank you. I appreciate it. But be advised, Detroit runs to the boundary just as much, if not more, than anybody, except for maybe the Baltimore Ravens. Great combo block here by Taylor Decker and the tight end. I think it's Sam Laporta. And so they're going to work up to the second level, the Mike. They actually both kind of released this guy. Combo from Laporta and Decker. You can see their eyes are on Warner together. For whatever reason, they both peel off. Gibbs gets yard gain. Last play shows you the versatility of Penei Sewell. It's a zone log concept out of 12 personnel. So tight end is in the backfield. Actually, it's jumbo 13 personnel. My apologies. You also have this huge split width between the left guard and the left tackle. And when you get the end zone angle, I'll kind of explain why I pointed out to you. Maybe you get a really astute announcer that does so, but a lot of film, not to the extent where they would have seen this the 3 times that I've seen it in the layers. Look at the split between the left tackle and left guard, and then the split between the right guard and right tackle. There's a couple of reasons for that. They're getting ready to insert a player into this gap. It is Penei Sewell. He's going to pull all the way from right side alignment. I would call it zone log. And they're getting the tight end / fullback on an outside path. And then Sewell is essentially the guy who's responsible for the mic. So they've got great angles here on the backside. A D tackle stunting across the center's face. So San Francisco run the ball effectively against Washington. Absent Washington making some structural changes. The 5-1 look that they used that I showed a little bit earlier, multiple teams utilize that at different times. Don't get me wrong. I think they could open themselves up to big run gains if Gibbs can get through this, or Montgomery can get through the first level quickly and they can close off Bobby Wagner, or the play action pass against that 5-1 look. this sets up to me to look like a game where if Detroit doesn't turn it over, they're going to be able to generate yards in the run game and yes, in the pass game. I know the Commanders passing yards allowed since their loss in Baltimore 30-23, I think in week 6, their passing yards allowed per game is extremely low. I think it's 173 or 175, something like that. I just don't see a team being able to do that to Jared Goff as first of all as well as he's throwing the ball, as many weapons as he has, the level to which the offense is coordinated. And then finally, one of the biggest trump cards I think that the Lions have is in Goff. They have a guy who's seen everything, tremendous familiarity with the offense, on the same page as Ben Johnson. If he gets to the line, he doesn't just have one play called. In fact, I don't think he has two. I think he has 2 plays called, and then him and Ben Johnson throughout the course of the week through film study and out on the practice field have identified situations. Hey, if we get this look on a 3rd and 6, we want to run that trap play. If we get that look on a 2nd and 4, we want to run this play action. And so, yes, there are generally, I would guess or presume, 2 play calls for Goff. But in the back of his mind, he's also got a 3rd layer or 4th layer of a couple of plays that he's got to think of against various looks. Hey, is it the time to use it? Have we shown this look yet? What do we have set up? I think Ben Johnson has Jared Goff not just playing extremely well, but almost coaching at a really high level on the field because Jared Goff recognizes the moment that they need to switch to a different play call, be it run or pass, based on leverage of the defense, based on the matchup, or any of the things that him and Ben Johnson have determined important for that particular concept. I appreciate you guys' time if you sat through this whole video. It's been very challenging in the last 48 hours to get out content that YouTube will allow me to actually show and display the film of. So there was a time where I thought I would just record commentary. Fortunately, I was able to get this film to display without having to demonetize my video. So if you did appreciate the video, please let me know in the comment section. If you're unaware, likes and comments help drive the content to a larger audience, which produces more revenue for us as content creators. And then finally, if you think other Lions fans would enjoy this film study preview of their home bout against the Washington Commanders, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.